What up, Space Fam? Golden here for AnimeUproar, and today we are going to be talking about the sometimes cowardly, but always legendary, lightning avatar himself, Zenitsu. He gets scared like Usopp, he hits on girls like Sanji, and he kicks butt with his epic swordsmanship skills like Zoro. He's one of my favorite characters in Demon Slayer, and I'm really looking forward to taking a closer look at him in this video. After all, he's had some of the best character development in the entire series. If you want to see more Demon Slayer character breakdowns, smash that like button to let me know, and leave suggestions for future videos in the comments. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you actually get notified when new Demon Slayer vids drop. For more Demon Slayer content and crucial updates, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Lastly, there will be manga spoilers in this video. You've been warned. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. Although he is one of only 4 people who make it through the Demon Slayer exam, Zenitsu comes off like a weak coward initially. Rather than celebrating making it through or mourning the death of others, Zenitsu focuses immediately on how he will die along with the others who passed. For him, it's only a matter of time. Furthermore, instead of a crow, Zenitsu gets a tiny sparrow. This further singles him out as weaker and less intimidating than the others. Later, Tanjiro walks into him again, and Zenitsu is trying to get a girl to marry him, but she's not having it. Although Zenitsu can act cowardly, he has a lot of confidence when it comes to hitting on girls, and he even assumes that girls like him, even when they clearly don't. After the girl leaves and Tanjiro's face makes the most pitiful expression at Zenitsu that you can imagine, Zenitsu starts to cry and tells Tanjiro that he's about to die. He says he's super weak and that he needs Tanjiro to protect him. As Tanjiro points out, Zenitsu is completely shameless. In other words, he is the complete opposite of Escanor, #praise the sun. Zenitsu reveals that he became a swordsman because he was deceived by a woman and got into a bunch of debt. The guy Zenitsu owes money to made him repay the debt the woman owes him by grooming Zenitsu. He put him through hellish training every day, and Zenitsu thought he might as well die. But he didn't. He made it to the final selection exam, where he thought he would also die, but he didn't. Now though, it seems like this swordsmanship lifestyle is really going to kill him. In other words, Zenitsu came into this lifestyle kicking and screaming. It wasn't his own choice like it was Tanjiro's. This is actually refreshing, and it makes what happens later on in the story all the more meaningful. The mangaka Koyoharu Gotoge does a great job of setting up Zenitsu's character. So far, he seems like a complete coward with absolutely no redeemable qualities. He's always complaining, he asks others to save him, he ignores his missions to hit on girls, and so on. A little later when Tanjiro faces Kyogai, Zenitsu is even more scared than the people he is supposed to be protecting. He's a crybaby and he has more fear than anyone. And that is exactly why the scene where Zenitsu protects Nezuko's box from Inosuke is so freaking powerful. Even though he knew that Tanjiro carried a demon in there from the beginning, Zenitsu will protect it because he knows that it is Tanjiro's most precious possession. Zenitsu has super hearing powers, and if he listens closely enough, he is even able to know what a person is thinking about. He can tell from the gentle sound that comes from Tanjiro that he can be trusted, and that he has a good reason for keeping a demon in the box. Inosuke calls him a coward who's too afraid to pull his blade, but in truth, Zenitsu is taking damage to protect the box the entire time. He could have left. He could have ran away and handed over the box, but he chose to stay, despite the fact that he is such a fear-filled person. He took hit after hit because he prioritized Tanjiro's wishes to his own well-being. That would normally be very admirable on its own, but the effects are amplified because of Zenitsu's cowardly personality. It's been said that courage is not the absence of fear, rather courage is acting in the face of fear. Thus, the more fear you face, the more courageous you are, and Zenitsu probably faced more fear than anyone else would in that situation. So Zenitsu is simultaneously the most cowardly and the most courageous in a sense. That's our first hint that there's something really special about Zenitsu. Actions speak louder than words, and despite what he says about himself, when the chips are down, he steps up and is willing to put his life on the line for a friend. When he figures out that Tanjiro is keeping a girl as cute as Nezuko in the box, he is extremely angry and jealous at first. But when he learns that it's Tanjiro's sister, he pretty much becomes set on marrying Nezuko, arguably the cutest girl in anime. And in truth, I ship it. Let me know if you ship it or skip it in the comments. The next significant moment where Zenitsu literally shines is when the group has to fight the Spider Demon family. Zenitsu is justifiably freaking out when he comes into contact with a creepy Spider Demon and he realizes that he's been infected with the venom and is in the process of becoming a spider. Regular spiders are creepy, let alone this nightmarish scenario. At this point, we get access to some important backstory details about Zenitsu. We get to see black-haired Zenitsu, as freaked out as ever, and his sensei. As he hinted at earlier on, he was saved from the woman that got him into debt by his sensei. So you might think that he should pay his sensei back by being a good student, but no. He's hiding in a tree begging not to go on with the training while his sensei is trying to get him to come down. Not necessarily what you'd think of when you think of Demon Slayer material. His sensei is very nice though, and he is flattered and can't stay angry when Zenitsu says he loves him. Zenitsu wants to live up to his sensei's expectations, but he experiences a lot of resistance. He thinks he can't do it, even though his sensei is supportive and assures Zenitsu that he has the talent. That's when lightning hits the tree and Zenitsu gets a permanent blonde hairstyle, which, to be honest, suits him way better. While this flashback is taking place, Zenitsu is again hiding in a tree in the spider forest. He says he didn't like himself the most. He always thought he had to do everything properly, but he was afraid and would run and cry. He wants to change, he wants to become a proper human being. He cries and says he's doing his best. At this point, Zenitsu has hit rock bottom. He feels completely powerless and helpless. I think to an extent we can all relate to how he feels. Maybe we don't need to worry about turning into a giant spider, but we've all been there where we've been scared and felt like something was too much for us to handle. I've definitely been there myself, and I think to an extent it's something we all have to face. That is why we root so much for Zenitsu, because we see a part of ourselves in him. We also have these inner conflicts even if we don't climb a tree and cry every time. In his book, The War of Art, Steven Pressfield calls this resistance. By the way, I strongly recommend this book to everyone. Pressfield talks about self-loathing, that voice in our heads that says, "You're a loser, you're a bum, a worthless waste of oxygen. Look at you. You believe that someone like you could accomplish or do anything meaningful." Pressfield labels this voice the voice of resistance, and Zenitsu experiences it just as we do. Resistance is defined by Pressfield as an impartial force of nature, like gravity. Resistance is clever. It knows if it personalizes its manifestations, it can deceive us and slip past our defenses. End quote. Resistance is not personal. We all experience that voice of self-loathing sometimes. However, believe it or not, this is good. We experience resistance when we are trying to step up in life and do something meaningful, like finally write that essay or create that video or kill that demon spider. When we are trying to step up in life and doing so would be significant for our own development as human beings, that is when resistance shows up. So resistance can be a compass, it's telling you what you should do. In Zenitsu's case, he's feeling so much resistance because a part of him knows that he needs to step up to his demon enemies. He needs to step up to his fear. He's not at the point where he can just do it consciously right away, but he will be there eventually. And it is this gradual overcoming of resistance that makes Zenitsu's transformation over the series so impactful. In the Spider Forest, he does face resistance, although he seems to faint first. As the series goes on though, he becomes better and better at facing resistance consciously the more time he does it. The fight against the demon spider is great because the spider was so confident in his abilities. He thought that Zenitsu would be the easiest of prey. However, Zenitsu, even though he can only use the first Breath of Thunder form, ends up absolutely destroying the spider. His sensei taught him to turn his weaknesses into a strength. He told Zenitsu that if he can only use one form, he should use it as much as he can. He should work on it until it's reached the limit of the limit. This is great advice for life. The businessman Gary Vaynerchuk often says that people need to double and triple down on what they're good at, rather than focusing too much time on their weaknesses. For instance, I make YouTube videos and a lot of you out there enjoy them, but I can't fix a fridge or a toilet. Should I cry about this and spend months trying to learn how to do this stuff and spend less time on YouTube videos? Absolutely not. I accept that I can't fix a fridge or that a plumber knows more than me about my toilet. I can pay someone else to do those things. My time is better spent on creating more content for you and growing this channel. It is this kind of single-minded focus that leads to meaningful and even explosive results. And we see just how much it paid off for Zenitsu during one of the most epic moments in the entire anime so far. Even though Zenitsu has a million reasons to give up, like that he's scared, he's poisoned, his limbs are going numb, his movements are getting weaker, the pain continues to grow, and he's about to throw up, he can't help but think about his sensei and how his sensei never gave up on him while everyone else in his life did. People insulted him, said he was useless and unwanted, but his sensei believed in him. Although Zenitsu never dreamed of a future where he could seize and accomplish something or be useful to someone or be able to protect someone to the very end, his sensei never gave up on him. He ran away again and again, and his sensei would pull him back again and again. Thus, he refuses to let down his sensei's expectations for him. He uses his refined Breath of Thunder first form, Thunderclap Flash, and slices the spider demon's head off before he even knew what hit him. Thanks to his sensei, Zenitsu now has a dream. A happy dream where he's strong, stronger than anyone else, where he can help the weak and troubled people anytime. Zenitsu realized that his time with his sensei wasn't wasted on him. It wasn't useless. He got stronger thanks to his sensei, and he got a dream that he can work towards, a dream where he can be useful to others. He overcame resistance in this moment, and it was glorious. As his sensei said, "It may hurt and it may be difficult, but don't give up to comfort." End quote. Overcoming resistance can be a very uncomfortable process, but it is always worth it in the end. The last significant moment I want to go over is Zenitsu's fight with his former senpai, Kaigaku. They both trained under the same sensei together. Kaigaku never got along with Zenitsu. He hated Zenitsu, but Zenitsu, despite hating him back, still respected him because he worked hard and he was driven. Yet, Kaigaku couldn't learn the first form, while Zenitsu could only learn the first one. Kaigaku was upset that he worked so hard and his sensei never gave him the successor title. He wanted him to share the successorship with Zenitsu. So, Kaigaku became a demon, and when he did, their sensei committed ritual suicide, just like Giyu and Sakonji promised to do if Nezuko kills a human. Except, in the Thunder Sensei's case, no one was there to behead him after he slit his stomach. As a result, rather than a quick death, he suffered a long and agonizing one. Not only does Kaigaku not feel sorry for being the cause of his sensei's death and suffering, he's even relieved that he killed himself because his former sensei didn't recognize how great Kaigaku was. During this battle, Zenitsu doesn't act scared at all, and he doesn't need to go unconscious or faint in order to fight. He is so committed to avenging his sensei, the only person who believed in him and gave him hope, that he has no room for fear. Not only has Zenitsu caught up to Kaigaku, even with his demon power-ups, he even surpasses him. He has even created a new 7th form of Thunder style called Flaming Thunder God, and he used it to finish Kaigaku and Upper Moon off by himself. Now yes, Kaigaku didn't have much time to get used to his new demon powers, but the fact remains that Zenitsu, who was scared of his own shadow at the beginning of the story, just be one of the strongest demons without showing any fear. It is a complete transformation, and to all of us who were rooting for this underdog since the beginning, this moment of triumph is extremely satisfying. In a way, it's sad how Kaigaku turned out, since Zenitsu always hoped to fight alongside him. But Kaigaku was too arrogant, and couldn't accept being on equal terms with Zenitsu. Ironically, not only was he not stronger than Zenitsu, he's arguably weaker. Yet Zenitsu never once felt or acted like he was superior. Yushiro even tells Kaigaku as he's dying, and I quote, "Those who don't give to others will never receive anything back from them. Just like those who only desire will end up with nothing in the end. Because you can't create anything. Dying alone sure is pathetic." End quote. Then Yushiro goes to help Zenitsu. As we know, Zenitsu spent his life trying to help people. His dream is to protect others. He protected Tanjiro's box and took a huge beating because of it. He wanted to live up to the expectations of his sensei and make him proud. Thus, while Kaigaku, who lived a completely selfish, self-centered life, dies, it's no surprise that Zenitsu gets saved. You can call it karma, justice, or whatever you want, but it's true that when you help and give to others, others will help and give to you in turn. As a perfect way to finish off Zenitsu's character arc up to this point, Zenitsu gets a glimpse of his sensei in the afterlife. Zenitsu begins apologizing for not helping him with Kaigaku. He blames himself for everything that happened to his sensei. His sensei's eyes water up, just like Zenitsu's, and he tells Zenitsu that he's his pride and joy. Then Zenitsu comes back to consciousness. He's made his sensei proud, just as he's always wanted to do. He overcame his fear and resistance and consciously defeated a demon moon by himself. By doing so, there's no telling how many thousands of innocent lives he's saved. Zenitsu's definitely come a long way from the cowering and powerless person he seemed to be in the beginning. I think we can all learn from Zenitsu's example. Figure out what your dream is, work towards it patiently, and overcome the fear and resistance that will inevitably come up during the journey. Zenitsu's journey is not done yet, but I think we can all agree that he's already glad he chose to step up and get closer to his dream rather than run away and seek comfort instead. So that was Zenitsu's motivational story up to this point. Now, let's take a look at his unique powers. I mentioned some of his powers already, but I'll outline them in more detail here. As we know, Zenitsu uses the Breath of Thunder style, sometimes translated as Breath of Lightning. This technique allows Zenitsu to reach superhuman levels of speed and strength. There are 6 official forms within this style, but because he was so untalented, Zenitsu could only initially learn the first one, which is considered to be the simplest. However, he perfected this first form to such a degree that it far surpasses that of other Thunder style users. He's like the Rock Lee of Thunder style, and the first form is his taijutsu. Nevertheless, Zenitsu does eventually learn a new form, and not only that, it's a form that he created. He calls it the 7th form, Flaming Thunder God. He can also use Godspeed twice a day, which makes his already fast techniques way faster, but after the second time, his legs will be practically useless. He can multiply the effectiveness of the first form, Thunderclap Flash. He seemingly multiplies its power and speed. Against Daki, he showed that he can at least multiply its effectiveness by a factor of 8. Then, there's his original 7th form, Flaming Thunder God, that allows him to travel like lightning through the air in a specific direction. He uses this ability to quickly travel up to Kaigaku's location in the air and cut off his head, before he can react. It's clear that this technique is extremely fast, since a skilled and demon-enhanced Thunder Breath user couldn't even stop it. It's also powerful. As we see in the manga, lightning-esque energy seems to come off Zenitsu's body in large quantities, and it takes the shape of a large dragon. It's definitely one of my favorite forms that we've seen so far. And by using it, Zenitsu proves that there is more than one way to skin a traitorous senpai. In addition to these abilities, Zenitsu has enhanced hearing. He can hear the inner thoughts of people by using his hearing to the fullest, and he can use it to locate demons since they produce a different sound than humans. Enhanced hearing allows him to react quickly in any combat situation, even if his eyes are closed. It's fitting that he has enhanced hearing, since thunder is associated with sound as well. Then there's Zenitsu's unconscious avatar-like state. Earlier on, if he gets too scared, he passes out and yet starts kicking butt. Instinct takes over, and as a result, he is no longer hindered by his conscious fears and doubts. However, as we saw earlier on in this video, this was a crutch that he eventually stops relying on. Now, with new and improved skills and courage, he can fight at his best while maintaining consciousness, as we saw when he fought Kaigaku. And that is it for today's video. You can always say more about Zenitsu, but I think I covered a good amount in this video, and hopefully I helped you see why he's one of my favorite characters. If I missed something you really want to talk about, you can leave it in the comments below. Zenitsu is a constant reminder of what's possible if we are willing to face our fears and overcome resistance in our own lives. I hope his story inspires you as much as it inspires me. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button to let me know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you actually get notified when new Demon Slayer videos come out. Let me know who you would like to see explained next. For even more Demon Slayer content and crucial updates, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. A big thank you goes to our patrons over on Patreon who help make videos like this one possible. I especially want to thank our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Angel Cruz, Steelers, Poet Pablo, and Atropos Wraith. And are the 1 tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans, Steven Ingrata, Alola and Autumn, Matty Mac 239, and Makoto-kun. If you enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these pillars right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also now join the YouTube channel and support more content that way if you prefer. Anyways, thanks again for everything, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboy.